With the Body Electric Supplement, it is here that we supercharge our lives. Um, I'm back in the classroom, and I was, I don't know, if you see my Substack, by the way, I take pictures of my desk, and, you know, I know it looks crazy, but somehow I have a way of doing it. But as I'm like coming back into the classroom and looking at my desk and trying to get some stuff done, um, the sticker that my coworker gave me is here. Uh, it says you're a big deal, a big dill, as in pickle. And she gave me this because I eat cucumbers, like in school, in class. Actually, yeah, I just put it in the refrigerator in our classroom over here. Uh, for those out there who doubt me, I was gonna eat it today, but I was like, you know what? It's a nice pickle. I mean, pickle. It's not. I don't eat pickles. See, that's the thing. I like apple cider vinegar. I use it in my salads. I eat cucumbers, but I don't mix the two. So yeah, and I eat whole cucumbers. Like I had a conversation. In fact, yeah, walk with me, because I was gonna sit and talk about something else. But I think this is a great introduction to some things. So yeah, so I'm grabbing my cucumber out of the and oh yeah, my tea is here too. All right, so let me show you quickly. Yeah, see, I wasn't playing. I wasn't playing. Here's my cucumber that I eat. I love eating them whole. People look at me funny. I was like, it's a fruit, y'all. It is. It's a fruit. All right, since I'm over here, I totally forgot about my tea. So I had make a ginger tea, and then I also have a lion's mane blend in there as well. Um, but yeah, just letting you know. All right, so I still have a little bit more time here in the classroom today before I go. But the title, I titled this Fears about my brother's mental health. And hi out there. So it's been kind of interesting. And when I use the word interesting, it's neutral, but you can take it either way, and I use that, in general. Hello out there. So the fears I have about my brother's mental health right now is because I gave him some news, some information he needs to know that may have really upset him. And he is not, this is what I told my mother, he is not used to processing hard information. I don't think he's ever been able to do that. Um, he's always had a low tolerance for pain, physical pain, and sometimes he equates emotional pain with physical pain. So there's been a couple of things that happened since he's come to Atlanta, and it's I've found a way to hopefully dissolve that kind of thing, but this new situation is geared around money, and he is on a fixed income. Okay, so he's on a fixed income, and I don't think he's okay with that, which most people wouldn't be, right? And it makes sense. But because of his situation, of his condition, I don't think he understood his benefits. And I don't know if anybody ever explained it to him. And the reason why I'm saying this is because back in, I would say 2003, when he was, I guess, diagnosed first, and then getting these benefits. Um, I don't know where along the way that he had it in his mind. I don't know if somebody told him this. I don't know if, because my mom is also repeating that too. And I'm like, if we're not thinking logically, like, why would this be a thing? Right? So He thought he had a free apartment and um, a job that these people, I don't want to name them, were caring for him. His caregivers at the time provided him with a job, you know? So he really believed that he had a free apartment and he had a job and he was thriving, he was doing well. And I don't think he realized that the free apartment was actually his benefits being used so that he had a place to live. And here we are, what, almost 12 years later? I don't know, even more than that, actually, if you do the math. Um, I had to tell him is that that apartment wasn't free. And the benefits that you were getting were paying for that apartment. And the reason why I'm saying this too is because he was also doing something against the rules of those benefits. But again, I don't know if anybody actually told him about it. So I can't blame him for feeling upset or feeling betrayed or anything like that. So when it was discovered that he was misusing the money that he thought was just coming out of nowhere, right? Um, he got really upset about it. And I think that was like 4 years ago. And so here we are now. He's with me. They're, making, or I won't say making, I'm um, providing him with care. And I like being transparent, even as a teacher. Like I'm okay with telling kids difficult things in a way that's appropriate for them. So I'm telling him, I'm like, have you read this booklet, the Social Security booklet? And he's like, no. And I'm reading it because listen, I ain't trying to play with the government, okay? Um, and so I'm reading it, and I'm like, and putting two and two and two and four together because he was telling me these things while he was unmedicated. Well, at the same time, I can kind of trust what he's saying under certain circumstances. Ooh, Morocco. That I love. You know what? I always wanted to go to Morocco. I still do, fingers crossed. I do know a little bit of French. I need to buff up on that, but it is my dream to go to Morocco. All right, and France too, but Morocco definitely. But back to what I was saying. Um, I like being transparent with people. Like sometimes hard, like you need to know, you know? Um, and so I've been trying to, as gently as possible, give him this information. And today, as I'm, checking some things, it seems, and I knew yesterday something was going down because he was really upset with me. Um, I don't think it was with me. It was just with the circumstances that he put it on me, or tried to anyway. Um, that he's upset about money and not having money. And again, I feel like that's a deeper issue, definitely with the world, that we live in a world where people, their value is with money. We just saw the movie The Fire Inside, by the way. Um, thank you. Thank you. Uh, we just saw the movie The Fire Inside this weekend, and it was about um, the young woman who became a boxer, and she was the first woman boxer to win a gold in 2012. And there was a line in the movie where she, like, basically her story was that she grew up in poverty in the United States. And I keep saying this because a lot of people think America is like everybody's rich. It's like, no, there's people who literally are homeless and things like that. But her growing up situation was that she became a boxer to protect herself, number one, and then she realized she could go to the Olympics to help her family. And after she won the medal, and this is a true story, by the way, and after she won the medal, um, she had a hard time getting like sports agents and things like that because it was still early in the women in professional sports getting equal rights and equal pay and stuff in the United States. And there was a line that she said that, you're nothing unless you have money. And that makes me feel really sad that that's kind of where we are in the world, that people don't pay attention to you unless you have money. And that's what I think he's picked up on, my brother. And I don't know if I can solve that problem for him to get through that, because this is, like I said, it's a bigger issue than his mental wellness or mental illness, in that a lot of people believe that. And they're well and they are sane and they walk around, so it's not his his problem is not the money. His problem is his way of clearly thinking for himself and taking care of himself. But I think he values or picked up on the overall spiritual collective in certain parts of the world, Western world, that if you don't have money, then you are nothing. Okay, I even see that in young kids. Okay, I see it. And while I can't change that for the world, yeah, I mean, there are factual things where people with money get more respect. People with money have more resources to do more things, right? That's a fact. And I don't want something like this to hinder my brother's recovery, because I've also done the research that he can recover, not completely, but he can get to a point where he can learn to manage these things. But when he became, I guess, ill the first time, he was still very young and he did not know how to do life skill things like pay bills and go to work consistently and things like that. So he does not know how to pay bills. And so he, like, I'm just tell you, when I got the apartment for him, because he thinks that, oh, I just show up with some money and they'll give me this apartment. He really believes that. Um, and I know in this day and age in the United States, you have to do background checks. You've got to show them your bank account, apparently now. Um, and he doesn't know that. He doesn't realize that. And that's not his fault. So a lot of these things that are coming up against us right now, me and him, is that while I want him to get well, I don't want whatever is going on, the current way of the world, to damage him further. Again, I want to be transparent with him, but I'm also worried that because people were not transparent with him in the first place, that he really has this thing built up in his mind that everybody's against him and that everybody doesn't know anything. And all I can do, and as I was thinking about this morning, and I'm documenting this right now with you out there, is that I can't preach to him. I can only show him. Just like show, don't tell. You try to give people advice and they don't hear you, but then they see you, then they might ask. They still might not follow that advice, but at least, they see what you're doing. You don't have to preach to anyone, even in his state. And this is how I know, and I'm probably going to end with this. I know this was a little rambly, but even though, yes, I'm voicing my concerns about my brother, I hope that I can trust him, that he can trust me, and that we can get through this. But Last night I was helping him organize because he lost his ID. Okay, it was in the apartment, by the way. So that gave me the opportunity to teach him about organization and being organized. Like, you got to label everything, because in your condition right now, you won't remember. You have to just put a label on where this needs to go and put it there and let it be there, so that you can have other focus, like getting better, getting well, instead of ruminating on certain things that are not that important based on where you are right now. Um, so I helped him with his organizing of the apartment last night. And that's, again, a show not tell situation, because I could have told him like weeks ago, like, you need to get organized. Like, he wouldn't have heard that. He wouldn't have he would not have. And it kind of needed to happen where he misplaced his ID and feel upset about it, and then have the resolution. And as I'm, helping him tidy up the apartment, starting to, set up some systems for himself, which that's how we all do it. You can't make changes without systems, not motivation. And yeah. So as I'm helping him tidy up, and then I'm helping him, troubleshoot his cell phone, I told him about Pilates like a week ago, because he kept asking me. He is a runner, by the way. So he was like, how are you able to do certain things? Like, I'm like picking up stuff, throwing stuff around. I'm about to be 50 this year. And he's like, well, how are you doing all this stuff? I was like, I do Pilates. And I gave him a little bit of an explanation of what Pilates is stretching and strength, like core muscles, things like that. And at first, and I gave him one of my stretchy tools to do it with. And so I'm thinking, okay, I told him, see, preaching, probably didn't work out. But then I started doing some Pilates moves in the apartment while I'm there, so he could see me. I didn't say anything. I just started doing them. But then last night, as I'm looking at his phone, trying to, help him troubleshoot some stuff, he has like three, and it's kind of cute too. So 3 Pilates apps on his phone now. So there is hope. Okay, so that's, with all that being said, all that I just went through in this video, you know, if you are consistent with your mission, there's going to be some progress. And as much as I want to tell him money doesn't mean anything, you can still be happy. People don't have to know that you have a lot of money or you have a certain job to be valuable. And that goes with anyone. Okay. He is probably the most extreme that I've seen in this, where he does not believe he's valuable unless he pretends to be somebody else, literally. And he just has to see it happening. And that's another reason why I took him in. And we can talk about, the other, what had happened before and all this other stuff. It's actually on my Substack. So I'm just tell y'all now. This is, me ruminating, but things got really intense as I feel like I rescued my brother out of a certain way of life and that he did not have to live in. But there's hope. And that's what I'm trying to teach him now. There's hope. He can get better. And when it comes to this money thing, I'm really hoping I can trust him, but I can't make him do anything. And this is, again, advice for all to share, where I come to the realization that no matter what I do to try to force something, I don't have the power. When you try, and I have videos like this called Force versus Power. Real power is not making somebody do something. Real power is letting them have their free will. We all have real power. Yeah. And I'm just hoping that when I am opening up this new world for him with, yes, people need money to live, but you have means to have a happy and safe life, um, and you don't have to worry about money and all the stress that comes in trying to acquire money, um, that hopefully he can gain some peace. That's my hope for him. Okay, that's my hope for everyone, really. Everybody deserves to be well, and I do mean that. I hate that certain religions tell us that we're born sinners and that we're wrong for being born. I wish more people knew about I want to say the 16th or 17th century, I think it's 16th century canon or something like that, where they all came together and decided what parts of the Bible deserved to be in there, how it was edited and whatnot. I mean, you literally have, think about it, y'all. The King James Version, yeah, version of the Bible. So it's been the biggest manipulation of the millennia. Okay, it really has been the biggest manipulation of the millennia, that people devalue themselves and they use certain religions to do it. But yeah, but what I want to say, like I said, is I want him to see what it could be like on the other side instead of trying to force people to respect you. Sorry. See, this is what happens at a certain time of day. My automatic lights go out. Sorry. Um, but I have to trust him and trust the process. And he's got to learn to trust me, hopefully. But then again, he doesn't have to. And I have to be okay with whatever happens. And I'm hoping for the best. But I also have to prepare for the worst. And that's real talk. Like real talk. Okay? Because I've seen the worst. Not the worst, but I've seen pretty bad. So, yeah. And with that, I say, we are all valuable, no matter what.